Hey, what's up guys? This is Super Simple Fixes, and today we're going to be showing you how to change a tire. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Okay, before we actually start getting into changing a tire, let's take a look at what you're actually going to need. I always keep a little tire gauge in my car. I always have an inflator in the car. I know exactly where my jack is, so that would be sitting on top of my spare tire. I'm not sure where yours is. Make sure you know where that is. And these two things came with the jack. This is the lug nut loosener, and this is an extension that actually gives you a little more leverage. But that's pretty much it. And you also got to make sure you have the spare in the car, all right? Okay, so before we get started, we're going to go ahead and make sure we review what we need to know before we actually change a tire. You need to make sure you're on a flat, hard, level surface, and also get yourself away from traffic. You don't want to be trying to do this with cars flying by at 55 miles an hour. If you have to drive a little further, drive a little further. Get yourself away from traffic. Get on a hard surface. Don't do this on grass because your jack will probably fall over. Also, don't try to do it in sand or mud, all right? You'll end up sinking the car. Anyway, so with that, we're going to go ahead and get this started. Just fit the tool right in here in one of the lug nuts, and you're going to go lefty-loosey. Just like that. That's one. You don't need to take it all the way off, just to loosen it. It needs to be on the ground while you're loosening the lug nuts, because if you jack it up and you try to loosen it, you're just going to spin the tire. That's two, and we'll get the rest of them, and we'll get you started on the jack in just a second. Alright, so now that we've loosened up all of the lug nuts, we're going to put the jack right here where you see this little notch, right? So each car should have like a notch or something where you can put the jack onto, and we're gonna go ahead and move that jack right up under there and get you started. Okay, so we've got the jack under the notch, and how I'm gonna continue bringing the jack up, I'm gonna take this little extension tool here, hook it right up, and I'm gonna take this little tire iron, same thing that I used to loosen up the lug nut, tuck it right under here, and this increases my mechanical advantage so that I can keep turning this pretty quickly. Okay, so now you can see that I've got the jack all the way high enough so that the tire is actually up off the ground. My spare tire is actually smaller than this, so I know it's going to fit. So I'm going to go ahead and take this little tire iron and go ahead and take the rest of the lug nuts off all the way. So they were all loosened while we were on the ground, right? Now we're just going to take them off completely. And now they're so loose I don't even have to use the tire iron. Okay, now that you have all of the lug nuts off, we're going to go ahead and take this tire off, just like so. And then you're ready to put the spare tire on. Okay, so let's assume that this is our spare tire. Before we put the spare tire on, we want to check the tire pressure, and that's what this tire gauge is for. And I know that my tire pressure cold should be about 32. So looks like I'm running a little bit high. That's okay, not too high that I have to worry about it. If it's really too high, then you can go ahead and just take a little air out of it. I took the other end of this little thing here, the tire pressure gauge, and touched it against this little nozzle, and it let some of the air out, so it'll lessen the pressure just a little bit. But this one's okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put this spare tire back onto the car. Okay, so now that we've got the spare here, we're going to go ahead and line up the bolts with the holes and put this thing right on. There you go. Try not to spend too much time with your hands and feet under this car, because I've seen jacks fall on people. Okay, so I've got a couple of these lug nuts on, and I'm just going to keep putting on the rest of them. Before I actually put the car down, I'm going to take the wrench here and tighten it up just enough so that they're not moving around. You're not going to be able to get it completely tight while it's off the ground. Alright, so I've kind of hand tightened it a little bit. Use the wrench, tighten it up. Use your star pattern. And we'll keep going until we have all 5 of these set to go. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and take the jack down. Okay, we're back on the jack. You can take the little extension, line it up with the wrench, and I'm going to start taking the car down. Okay, once the car is all the way on the ground, you actually have to finish up tightening these things. So use your star pattern, righty-tighty. Just to the point where it can't move. You don't want to over tighten. And that's it. That's how you change a tire. Thanks a lot, guys. Hope you learned something. Have a great day.